afraid of the dark? Are you scared?
We live, baby. What's going on, beautiful people? I'm the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray, and I am your coach of the San Diego Snugglers. Today, we're facing off against Mario, my good buddy, my pal, mi hermano. We've actually gotten pretty close over the course of the GDL season. We knew each other in the IBL, but we got closer during the GDL, and I appreciate you, Mario, for being such a good friend. And I get a compliment, or I get compliments pretty often that I'm very wholesome, like one of the most wholesome, nicest people in the community. But that's false, because MarioBee is. He's nice to everybody. He's just his soul so beautiful. There's never nothing bad to say about Mario, and it oozes positivity off to the rest of us, and for that I appreciate you, my dude. It's been an honor being your friend. And so this game means a lot, and it's gonna be a good time with a good friend, with a good pal. So if you guys are excited for this matchup, do me a massive favor and shadow claw that thumbs up button. And if you're new, por favor, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, hit the bell button so you guys get notified every single time we post a new video. So notice it's a pretty relaxed feel today. I actually kind of like the showdown look for previews of the game. We may actually even do this moving forward, mostly because I'm just gonna blow it up so you guys can see it a little bit better, so you can see the EVs a little bit more intricately. I do get a lot of messages that people are wanting to know why I bring what I bring, so maybe I'll go more in depth, we'll see. But I figured this will be the next step, so I'll put showdown and blow it up for you guys so you can see a little bit better. But his team is right above us. He's got Cinderace, Sneasel, Galvantula, Gmax, Rillaboom, Gallade, Toxtricity, Corviknight, Alcremie, Jellicent, Turtonator, and Mudsdale. The 6 Pokemon that I think he's gonna bring is gonna be Cinderace, Rillaboom, Gallade because of Snorlax, Corviknight obviously because it's Corviknight, Mudsdale, and Jellicent. Those are the 6 Pokemon I believe he's gonna bring. Obviously, you can see our team up on your left-hand corner. The first Pokemon that we brought, that we're bringing to this matchup, is going to be Slowking. So Slowking is coming with the Cobra Berry Regenerator. Basically max HP, max special attack. We're running Scald, Fire Blast, Trick Room, and Teleport. Great coverage for his entire team. Scald is great for, like I said, his entire squad. I don't think he's going to run Water Absorb on his Jellicent this week. It could probably be Cursed Body, in my opinion. But Scald is really good to get Scald Burns on the Rillaboom, hit super effective damage on the Cinderace. Scald Burns on the Corviknight would be really clutch. It's the Turtonator, super effective damage against the Mudsdale, just great coverage all around. Fire Blast is there for the Rillaboom and for the Corviknight primarily. Trick Room is there to be able to set up for Slowking and Toru that you're going to see coming next. And Teleport is there to get in our Melmetal for free. So that's the idea behind that. We want to maximize our damage output, so we went to the Quiet Nature and we don't want to get outsped. I actually did change this. This is actually not supposed to be 31. I actually did change it before the matchup. Spoilers were already played. So it was 0 speed IVs. I don't know why I didn't show this. I did change it on the team that came. But that's Slowking. This Pokemon that we brought is going to be Toru. Toru came with the Brave Nature again to take advantage of the Trick Room. We have 244 in HP, 180 in attack, 84 in Spadef, and we're running Double Iron Bash, Darkest Lariat, Ice Beam, and Substitute. Double Iron Bash just to hit his entire squad. Obviously it does really great damage to his entire team. Cinderace obviously is a resist, but Cinderace is very, very frail. You could switch in the Corviknight, but then we can just bop it with an Ice Punch or Darkest Lariat. But for the most part, once the Corviknight's gone, then Melmetal puts in the finest of work. Substitute's there to be able to get something on the switch and be able to get free damage on whatever comes in next. And yeah, just a really good pivot to be able to come into Sneasel if I needed to get it in for Sneasel. I do have to watch out for Iron Defense Body Press Corviknight against our Melmetal, but that's something we have to come across later on. We do want to be wary of the Turtonator, which is why we I think I debated on putting on Earthquake, but I ended up doing it. But yeah, that's going to be the Melmetal set this week. The next Pokemon that we brought is going to be Beats by Drag, aka Noivern. We're running this with a Rocky Helmet Frisk ability. This is basically our check to 2 Pokemon, Rillaboom and Corviknight. If he brings the body press set, then it gets walled by our Noivern. Rillaboom, walled by Noivern for the most part, probably like 80% of the time. Hurricane is there to basically bop the Rillaboom and anything else that comes under the squad. Flamethrower is there primarily for the Corviknight. Roost is for longevity to be able to get the most out of our Rocky Helmet. And then U-Turn is there for pivot in case I absolutely need it. But we're running 180 in HP, 76 in defense, 108 in special attack, 4 in Spadef, 140 in speed with the timid nature, so that way we guarantee outspeed the Cinderace always by 1 point, which could be really clutch for us, I believe is what I EV that for. I believe. But yeah, this is basically here to check the Rillaboom and check the Corviknight always. This is going to be a really good pivot for us to find out whatever items he has. That's the Noivern. Next Pokemon they have is Ambre, aka Snorlax, holding the Master Ball because those are the rules of the league. We have Body Press, High Horsepower, Heat Crash, Darkest Lariat. I don't know why I have that in my ear if there's nothing playing. We have 252 in attack, 196 in defense, 16 Spadef, running the Adamant Nature. This is here to bop his entire team. We have 4 attacks, coverage for almost everything. Body Slam is there to get obviously the stab, plus some paralysis shenanigans, as well as high horsepower to be able to hit the Toxtricity if he decides to bring that, to be able to hit the Cinderace, to be able to hit the Turtonator, which could be pretty good for us. Heat Crash is there for the Corviknight, as well as the Galvantula and the Rillaboom, and the Darkest Lariat is there for the Jellicent primarily. I do understand the Gallade can bop us, especially if he's banded as a 2-hit KO. I did keep that in mind, so that's why we invested more in defense than we did in Spadef this week. But whenever we Gigantamax, we double our HP, and the fact that we have a massive 235 special HP stat means that we don't necessarily have to invest in HP, so this could be pretty clutch for us. Thick Fat is there to get the resistance to fire and to ice, so that could be pretty clutch for us. That is our Snorlax. Our next Pokemon that we have is Indica, aka the Roselia, with the Eviolite, obviously. Natural Cure to be able to be our dedicated Scald switch in, so we can get burnt. If it happens, we can switch out, cure ourselves, move on. It's also going to be a good Toxic switch in, because that may be something he want to do to Toxic the Snorlax or to Toxic the Slowking. We have Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed, and Toxic Spikes. My man's only grounded poison is Toxtricity, and for the most part it gets walled by Snorlax just because Snorlax is so specially defensive. I feel like I'm slurring my words today because it's so late. But yeah, this is gonna be a good switch in. Toxic Spikes are gonna be really good for his team to shipping it down, for the Turtonator and for the Mudsdale primarily. But the rest of his team doesn't want to get poisoned. I don't think that Toxtricity comes. I really don't. Sludge Bomb is there to be able to hit the Rillaboom for super effective damage, and to hit the I think that's just mostly for the Alcremie, and for the Alcremie. Obviously he's gonna get Mystical Fire. It's gonna reduce our special attack, does a little good decent damage, but don't think Alcremie comes again because Snorlax is a good check to it. And then Giga Drain is there primarily for the Mudsdale. Leech Seed is going to be a good way to get some residual damage alongside our Giga Drain, so if he wants to switch out and keep doing all that shenanigans, we can just Leech Seed as free as you possibly want to. If he brings in Rillaboom, we just bop it with a Sludge Bomb. But we're running this thing with the Modest ability, with 100 Modest in Nature. My goodness, 148 in special attack, 108 in defense, and 252 in HP. To maximize our bulk as much as we possibly can, to boost with the Eviolite. But yeah, this is basically to check those Pokemon, mostly for the Mudsdale, because last time we played was in the IBL and his Mudsdale was kind of an issue, so we want to check something for that. So that's going to be our Roselia. I think the Roselia is going to come in pretty clutch this week, because the damage output is pretty damn good, and then the bulk on this thing, I'm really falling in love with this Pokemon. It's an amazing tier 5 pick, and I could probably guarantee I'll draft it again in the future. This Pokemon is like really good. I love me Roselia. Phenomenal mon, especially for the tier that it's in. So last Pokemon that we have is going to be Luxray, aka Dasalion. We have Wild Charge, Throat Chop, Facade, and Agility making his debut to the GDL this season. This is the first time we bring it. We have Max Attack 252, 212 in Speed with the Jolly Nature, and 44 in Spadef. So we're running Guts because obviously we can switch it on any Will-O-Wisp from the Jellicent, we can bring it on a Skull from the Jellicent, and we're not afraid of any status or any toxic shenanigans from the Mudsdale or toxic shenanigans from literally anything. But this is so we can be another status absorber. So we can boost our attack power with Wild Charge, and Throat Chop is pretty. If he does decide to bring the Toxtricity, we put enough speed to outspeed a modest max speed Toxtricity by 1 point. Hit it with the Throat Chop, and he can't use Overdrive or Boom Burst. So that'd be pretty clutch. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be some fire, some fuego. And then Agility is there to be able to get the +2 and outspeed the rest of his team. And this could be some really good late game shenanigans. The Wild Charge is there to be able to get super effective damage boosted to the Jellicent, to the Corviknight, and then Facade is there for the boost whenever we get statused. It's a good little coverage move. Because we have the Throat Chop on the Luxray for the Jellicent. So that is going to be the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'm going to go ahead and hop into the matchup. I'll see you guys on over there. Alrighty guys, so we are in the battle. As you can see, my hands are up here and the game is communicating. This happens to be a post-com, unfortunately. It's just kind of the hand we were dealt. Your boy did the dirty, and I just forgot to hit the record button. So Mario was phenomenal and lent me his side of the battle, so shout out to you, MarioBee. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. So that way I can get some content out to the beautiful people. So this is going to be obviously a post-com on his side, and I will be on the opposite side of the spectrum. You'll see me across the way versus on this side. So it's actually been a couple days since we played again, because this goes up actually tomorrow. So bear with me as I may not remember some of the plays. As I watch over it, I will remember some stuff, but I'm gonna obviously mess up on a couple different areas. So yeah, this is the Pokemon that he decided to bring. He brought the Corviknight, the Rillaboom, the Mudsdale, the Turtonator, which was very surprising, the Jellicent, and the Cinderace. This is sped up a little bit so that way we can get through it a little bit faster, and as I talk about it, because there was a lot of thinking obviously as we made our play. So yeah, good luck, have fun to Mario, and let's make it a good game. This guy's a beautiful soul. Honor to play this guy. Phenomenal human being. Look at me looking nice and snazzy. Look at that fit, baby. Got that pink jacket on, got the ghost logo on my hat, looking fresh, looking mighty fresh. Real men wear pink, man. Real men wear pink and purple. So we let off a Noivern, and he leads off with Cinderace, and he's got custom shinies, bro. That custom shiny Cinderace looking mad nice. So I see this obviously. I do outspeed it by 1 point. I EV'd for it to EV. I EV'd to outspeed it, max speed, Jolly Cinderace by 1 point. So I'm gonna stay in. I'm gonna bop this thing with the Hurricane. Doesn't matter, whatever comes in, it's going to be damage on something. It's going to be really nice. If he decides to bring in the Corviknight, then that's fine. Then we can just hit it with a Hurricane, have that confusion chance, and still be able to hit him with a Flamethrower as for the next turn. Because like I said, this is one of my checks to Corviknight, so I don't fear anything that he wants to go for. We do see after we hit the Hurricane that he does indeed have leftovers, so we don't have to worry about any weakness policy shenanigans. He has a Rocky Helmet. But as you can see, his set, he's Iron Defense, Body Press, Roost, and something else. But obviously I don't know that. So at the time, I'm thinking, okay, so if your Corviknight can stay in, that's fine. I'm going to go for a Flamethrower and see how much damage I could do. So after gauging the damage, he's actually pretty Spadef bulky. He goes for the Roost, probably to scout out what I'm going to do. He obviously doesn't know yet that I'm Rocky Helmet. I know for a fact that I can 1v1 this thing. I benefit off of this because I too have Roost with the Rocky Helmet. And I know that after this play. So I'm actually kind of confused of why he's staying in here because of the damage that it did. So I'm actually going to go for a U-turn, hoping for him to switch out on this play, knowing how much damage that I did, and hopefully getting him to get the thought that he can't beat me 1v1. Again, it may have been a little bit premature because he hadn't touched Noivern, so he doesn't know that I'm Rocky Helmet. So he decides to stay in, which kind of baffled me at the time because of how much damage I did with Flamethrower, and he goes for an Iron Defense. So at this moment I realize, okay, he's an Iron Defense Body Press set. Alright, that's nothing to deal with. I can't do anything with Luxray. Maybe I'll scare him out with a Thunderbolt, but I'm going to double back into Noivern because now that I know that this thing is an Iron Defense set, most likely he is carrying the Body Press, just like I said. So I'm going to switch back out. I can't touch it because the Luxray is physically offensive. So we come back in, back to square one, which is completely fine. At this point, now he's at +2. Again, don't really care about it. Body press is a resisted move on my Noivern. I do have Rocky Helmet. It's gonna end up netting me out better than him, unless he has a different move. If he has Brave Bird, which I don't know he has just yet, he can go for that. But he's gonna elect to go for the body press. So he goes for the body press, does about like 40% or so, but it does take the Rocky Helmet. And at this point, I'm sure that he has to realize that he's not gonna win this exchange, so he has to switch. But last time he didn't, so I don't really know what he wants to do. I have to kind of engage how he wants to play this. My thought process was, okay, you stayed in last time, even though you found out that how much damage I do with Flamethrower, but you still ended up staying in and tried to set up. So I don't really know how Mario wants to play this right now, so I'm kind of like on the back end, kind of overthinking things, and he's taking a little bit of time to think about it. I haven't seen his side because I didn't want to listen to what he was saying to kind of taint my post-con for this. I don't know what he's thinking, I don't know what he's saying, but luckily he does switch out here. But I do believe I go for the Flamethrower, thinking that he's gonna stay in. No, I go for Roost. We talked about it in the beginning that I don't fully remember, but I go for the Roost to kind of get that health back to be able to take another body press. So that makes sense. He brings in the Mudsdale. Now, I do know this thing probably is carrying stamina because whenever he has Mudsdale, he typically always runs stamina. So I don't want to go for a U-turn and give him that +1 defense boost. Instead, I hard switch into my Roselia and he goes for Toxic. Seems like I made a big brain play, but I actually just did it to because this is my switch in for it. It's lucky that he went for a Toxic, that way it doesn't affect me because obviously Roselia is a part fairy type. But at this point, I'm thinking, okay, Toxic Spikes are completely free. He didn't bring the Toxtricity. I'm gonna go for T-Spikes. There's nothing that he can do to stop it. Unless he's got Defog on this thing, he can't get rid of him. So that's pretty good for us. So I know right now he's got Iron Defense, he's got Roost, and he's got Body Press. I don't know what his fourth move is at this point. If he does have Brave Bird, I know that I can't stay in. I'm actually kind of covering it a little bit, but he does indeed have the Brave Bird, so I do have to switch out to scout to see if he does have it. We bring back in Noivern because again, this is my main check or one of my checks to this Corviknight in the first place. He makes a good middle ground play and he goes for a Roost. Can't fault him for that. Gets back up to full. It's gonna be really annoying to deal with this freaking Noivern. We go for a U-turn, hoping that he doesn't stay in. But my man stays in. He knows how much damage the Flamethrower does. He knows that I have Rocky Helmet, but this man's got nuts of steel, and he says, "Nah, I'm gonna stay in with my Corviknight." So he's gonna go for a Brave Bird here. We bring in Slowking because it's a very bulky Pokemon. We take about another 40% from the Brave Bird, and he takes some recoil damage. Perfectly fine. Now, I have to understand that he's pretty content about leaving his Corviknight in. He's playing really recklessly with it, and I have to kind of play moving forward from here on out, knowing that he's going to play relatively reckless with his Corviknight. So at this point, I'm going to go for a Trick Room because not only can I stay in with my Slowking against the Corviknight, but I can also set up Trick Room for Melmetal or for Snorlax if I absolutely need it. My man switches in his Jellicent, another fire custom shiny. Later on in the matchup is what I thought. Okay, so we bring back in Noivern again because I knew that he was content with leaving in his Corviknight, and if he wants to go 1v1 with it, that's fine, is what it is. So we bring back in Noivern, go for a U-turn. I don't get Curse Bodied, so I don't have that information just yet to confirm whether if he's Curse Body or if he's Water Absorb. So we switch back out, we bring back in Indica, which is a check for his boy here. So he goes for a good middle ground play and he goes for a Shadow Ball. So Indica's here. Indica's super fat. Indica is ready to take names. So we've got our shiny Roselia here, and I'm thinking, okay, you probably don't want to stay in on this thing. I can freely, I believe, go for a Leech Seed. If he wants to bring in the Rillaboom, that's completely fine. We don't have to worry about that because you can Sludge Bomb it the next turn. But I figured let's just go ahead and get a Leech Seed off. He brings in the Turtonator, which is another fire shiny. This man is just a god when it comes to custom shinies. So I actually don't get to see the custom shinies when we play, so this is the first time I actually see them. Look really nice. They look really nice. So go for a Leech Seed, get the residual damage, the residual recovery from the Turtonator here. Obviously, I can't stay in on this thing, so I have to switch out. So I'm gonna withdraw, and from here I bring in Rain. Rain is one of our checks to this thing, and he reveals that he is Shell Smash. So this man puts the biggest schlong out on the table, knowing that my main mode on this team is Trick Room, but he brings Shell Smash anyway. So not only am I relatively impressed that my man said, F your trick room, I'm gonna bring Shell Smash. I just, at that point, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm gonna just do what this team does, and I'm just gonna go for a trick room. So he set up his +2 special attack, he's +2 speed. This makes me think he's probably timid, possibly, but if he's modest, that's fine. So he goes for a Dragon Pulse. He shows me here that he is indeed modest, for the most part, or could just got a really low roll. So set up the trick room and essentially just negate the Shell Smash. So now Slowking is faster, so we win. Haha. So now we get that residual recovery from the Leech Seed. Super clutch. The Toxic Spikes plus Leech Seed is starting to rack up on him a little bit. Now from here, I'm obviously going to stay in, I believe, and I go for a Scald is the play that I go for, because now I'm faster than this thing. I'm not really afraid of it, especially from what's going on. Oh, actually no, I stay in. So yes, see? This is what happens when you play a game and then it's a couple days after you do a post-com. So I bring in Ombre. I actually take quite of a licking, but I get some Leech Seed recovery, which is pretty good. I think a better play would have been to just go for a Scald, just looking back at it, because the regenerator from from Slowking would have been much better. But you know how you are when you play a game, you're just all over the place and you're just like, what do I do? He's +2, Should've just gone for a Scald. Looking back at it now, it's a bad play on my end. I took unnecessary damage on my Snorlax, so bad play by me. Bad D-Ray. Learn from it, move forward. So now we have the Trick Room up, and Snorlax is out on the field, which is really good for us. He does bring in his Jellicent. So obviously I can't go for my Body Slam. I can't go for a max replenish because this thing is a ghost type. And I'm thinking, do you have Will-O-Wisp or do you have Strength Sap? If you have Strength Sap, this thing is going to be really annoying to deal with because I cannot kill you from full. But I go ahead and stay in anyway. I'm going to hit him with the big Max Darkness. Max Darkness is going to be good damage. He's going to tell me one of two things. Either he's going to Will-O-Wisp me to reduce my attack, or he's just going to go ahead and go for a Strength Sap. So we're going to find out here. We're going to go for big damage, and he does live it, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Get the Spadef drop, obviously, because it's the, secondary effect of that move. Goes for a Will-O-Wisp, and he burns me. I would have much rather him have had Strength Sap than that. But you live and you learn. That's fine. We already took a lot of damage on this thing anyway. I don't necessarily see a benefit to keeping Snorlax moving forward, to be honest with you. It'd be really good against the Cinderace, but if he has high jump kick, that could be a big thing. So kind of messed up Snorlax's longevity by switching it in on a Dragon Pulse that was very unnecessary. And that was a bad play on my end. I fully accept that. So I'm fully okay with letting Snorlax go down. Now that I'm burnt, I'm just gonna hit his Pokemon as many times as I possibly can. So he brings in the Corviknight. Obviously he finds it as a setup opportunity. That's completely fine. That's fair on his part. He goes for an Iron Defense, as you can see. I'm just gonna continue to get some damage off. I go for a Max Flare. My thought process is here though, right? I want to get this damage off on this thing. The secondary effect of the Max Flare is that you can set up the sun. Now, I need to prove to you, Mario, you can't stay in on my Noivern. You're gonna lose the 1v1. So I figured if I bring in the sun, it would scare him out. I fully know that my Snorlax is gonna die on this next turn, but this man's got another set of Nuts of Steel. I think that he actually sets up again for his Iron Defense, or he may just go for a Body Press. I don't remember. He may set up again though. No, he goes for a Roost. Go for another Max Flare. This one's boosted by the sun. Now he's at half. So with the Roost, he's gonna get back up to full, I believe, which is pretty good because he's gonna stall out my G-Max. But again, Snorlax is burnt, so I don't really care. I just want you to kill me. Mario, just kill my Snorlax, please. It's gonna drag on this battle just a little bit more, but I understand the play. I get he wants to get back up to full. I think at this point he is at +2. +2? Yeah. So obviously I withdraw here because I'm like, man, I don't want this thing to get the +6 on me and do anything at all. I just bring in Noivern and take advantage of the sun as much as I possibly can. So he goes for a Brave Bird. Good play by him, but he's going to take Brave Bird recoil and he's going to take Rocky Helmet damage. And now the sun is up. I'm going to take 50% more. I think it's 50% more damage, or do 50% more damage than I did before. So Flamethrower is a massive threat. He should not stay in on this, but I don't know at this point. he's playing so recklessly with his Corviknight, so I don't necessarily know if he's actually gonna have the cojones to really stay in. He's proven to me his schlong is massive, so he may. So I don't know. I think I do still go for the flamethrower here, just to see what he wants to do. I do go for the flamethrower. I think that I should have killed, so I think I just got a super low roll on this because of the damage that I've kind of gauged as we've played. But he goes for a Brave Bird, and I think at this point he just accepted the fact that he's not going to win this. So the 1v1 exchange, I mean. So he goes for Brave Bird and kills himself to the recoil damage of the Rocky Helmet, which is completely fair. It would have just stalled out everything else. I had, I think, 2 or 3 more turns of Sun. So if he roosted, I just do 2 more flamethrowers and he dies anyway. So that's fine. He could have switched, but that's a lot of damage taken on another Pokemon. So that's completely fair. So Noivern is in. He's done his job with his with my Corviknight here. With his Corviknight, I should say. I do still need it around for Rillaboom, mind you. It's still going to be really nice to check the Rillaboom. Even though I'm pretty low health, I can find another opportunity to roost, so that way I can get the longevity that I need out of this thing to avoid this thing being scarfed, taking a Power Ball to the face in the sun. I'm going to switch out. I'm hard switch out. I'm going to bring a Snorlax, which again, I don't care about right now because it's burnt. Doesn't do anything for me. It's just a sack at this point. I can't gauge of what kind of set this thing is because again, the sun was up, so who knows, right? He's going to be poisoned, ironically, because there's a purple Cinderace. Now you're poisoned. Ha ha ha. We bring in Slowking. This is our opportunity that I talked about earlier that I take now. So now that the Corviknight is gone, Melmetal is looking mighty nice. Mighty nice. So because he's going to fear the Scald, he's going to switch out. And then I'm going to go for a Trick Room. This is going to be a good opportunity for me to be able to dent this team. I obviously don't bring in Melmetal just yet. I do stay in with Slowking, I believe, and I go for a Scald, is what I want to say that I do. But now the Toxic Spikes are coming into play. We have Toxic on the Cinderace, and we have Toxic on the Mudsdale, which is the main thing that I wanted to get Toxic in the first place. Absolutely phenomenal. So he decides to stack his Cinderace. I go for a Scald. This should kill. It does. So Slowking takes the first life. Fair play, because I think that he wanted to keep his Mudsdale around for the Melmetal, even though it takes half from Double Iron Bash the first time before he gets any Spadef boosts. But again, pretty fair. On this play, I debated whether or not I wanted to stay in to go for a Scald again to get a Scald burn on this thing, but ultimately I switched out. Bring in Toru. Figure there's no reason not to, so I can eat a Grassy Glide, but he decides to go for a Swords Dance. So now I got a +2 Gorilla in my face, a +2 fine looking Gorilla. He's got the black color with the like burgundy hair. Mario, A1 on all of your custom shinies. Phenomenal. I could tell you put some time in it, my dude. So on this play, he's gonna go ahead and Gigantamax. He's gonna turn Big Gorilla on me. Grow like 3 or 4 more dreads. Big old upgrade to the Yamaha drums. And I think he's probably gonna want to hit me with a max ground, but I'm gonna go for Double Iron Bash because I know that I'm faster than this thing. I actually, at this point, I remember I actually wanted to go for a flinch, and I didn't know that Gigantamax Pokemon could not flinch. So that was a bad play on my part. I should have switched into Noivern. But what's good about this whole exchange is that we don't have to take any damage to Noivern on the switch in. So we did have to sack Melmetal. Hindsight's 2020. I should have looked it up. At the time, I do remember, I will admit that I played for the flinch versus just trying to knock it out. But you can't flinch a Gigantamax Pokemon. At the time, I did not know that. So, I mean, that's just a bad play on my part. So now we go for a Sludge Bomb. Trick Room is up. We're faster than this thing. Get a crit. Pretty sure it did not matter. I talked to Mario at the end of the matchup. He says that it did. We threw a couple calcs around, but I was looking deeper into it from the damage that he was at. I honestly don't think that I don't think that the Sludge Bomb mattered because he was Toxic. Toxic typically goes before, I think Toxic does go before the residual recovery from the grassy terrain, but again, I could be wrong. I don't know. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We do go for the Giga Drain. onto the Mudsdale and prove that this thing is basically over, because Roselia was our check to this thing. Now that we're a full, we can eat one of these high horsepowers and gain some more recovery from the grassy terrain, but the grassy terrain is basically boosting our Giga Drain at this point, so there's nothing that he could do to really stop this, along with the toxic from the toxic spikes. So we're gonna go for another Giga Drain, and that should be GG from here. Great game to my brother Mario. It was a really fun one. A lot of back and forth. He put a schlong on the table, man. He played with his Corviknight pretty crazily, in my opinion. But you know, hindsight's 2020. That's just what I was thinking at the time. He did a really good job. I just think that our prep was really good. I'm really sad that I didn't get to use Luxray. I know that in my front office Howler, Platinum Howler, he was like, you didn't get to use Luxray. So he was really upset, as I am too. I wanted it to do something in this matchup. That would be pretty cool. But maybe in the future matchups we'll bring in Luxray, and we will go from there. So it just went away. Guys, leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm sorry that this was a post-com. I will try my best to make sure that I'm hitting the record button moving forward. And do me a massive favor, down in the description below there will be a link down to Mario's channel. Please head over there, subscribe to him if you aren't already, look at his side of the battle, leave a like on his video, support my boy. He's a great human being. I love him to death. And again, thank you guys so much for enduring this post-com. I really suck at them. I'm sorry, I really do, which is probably why I'm not a fan of Gen 7, because you have to post-com everything unless you know, fix your DS, whatever. I'm just not good at post-com. I'm more of a live com kind of guy. So thank you guys so much for enduring this. I appreciate you. With that being said, I'm gonna get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your night, and above all else, be nice. Peace.